Alpha by USA Today best-selling author Mandy Rosko. Narrated by Markham Anderson. Chapter 1. Living in her car sucked, but Miranda Swanson knew it was better than being out on the street completely, so she was relieved to be able to sleep in the back seat after a long shift at the diner. As she locked the back doors of the diner where she worked, she noticed how the yellow light hanging from the corner of the building somehow made things look darker, wetter, and dirtier than they already were. With a sigh, she put away the spare keys, and that was that. She was done. Until tomorrow. The 6 a.m. shift was going to be murder. Doing a midnight close had been bad enough. She groaned. Her feet were killing her as she shuffled out of the light and across the parking lot. It was warm enough this time of year that being homeless wasn't totally bad. The back seat was clean, and her car battery was charged up enough that she could use her phone and tablet whenever she wanted to surf the internet. So it wasn't so bad as long as no one she worked with found out where she was sleeping every night. Lois already suspected, and that was bad enough. Her internet connection was something she could hardly afford, even though she got the sweetest deal, but she wasn't about to live without it. It helped her feel normal when she curled up in her car at night. The phone was definitely something there would be no negotiating with either. She needed it to pick up extra shifts at the diner and grocery store, so she couldn't turn it off, even if she wanted to. Also, she was waiting to hear back on any of the resumes she'd sent out. A third part-time job would help tremendously, or maybe that job as a secretary in the dental office she'd applied to. The pay there would equal the amount she made in the diner and the grocery store, for less time. A full-time job there, plus a part-time job somewhere else, and she'd be set. Maybe. Car, sweet car, she sighed, spotting her old Nissan Sentra parked in the absolute back of the lot. It wasn't as if it was hidden, but so far she hadn't had a cop knocking on her window, asking what she was doing, so it was pretty unnoticeable back there during the night. A cold wind rushed behind her. Miranda shivered as she whipped around to glance behind. Nothing there, just the diner and the yellow light that was pointed at the door. The other stores in the mini-mall had emergency lights and cameras as well, but suddenly it wasn't enough. Whatever slim protection they offered, it couldn't keep her safe. That realization made the uncomfortable cold in her bones worse, more chilling. A strange sensation made Miranda reach up to rub the back of her neck. Another shiver ran down her spine, like a hand touching her skin, brushing away the tiny hairs that had escaped from her bun. But there was no one there. It was quiet. Just the wind. Turning back in the direction of her car, she walked a little faster. Long day. Too damned long. She really needed to kick off her shoes and let her body unwind. She was still buzzing from all those customers and all the coffee it had taken to keep her awake. That was why her skin was jittery. Financially, the 12-hour shift had been worth it. Her pockets were heavy with tip money, and the hours would definitely help her check. But now that she was freaking out, she honestly debated if the money was worth risking her safety. The chefs closed up the kitchen and went home long before the waitstaff did, and 2 sick calls meant she was entirely alone. She needed that secretary job in the city. Then maybe she could get back into her apartment with Lois, and she could stop spending her nights out here all by herself. They still weren't speaking to each other. To be fair, Lois had called and texted a couple of times, but Miranda wasn't answering or picking up. Miranda wasn't so desperate that she was willing to come clean about living in her car, regardless of whether or not Lois suspected it. The problem was that Miranda owed Lois another 4 months' worth of back rent, and she couldn't look her friend in the eyes until it was paid. But she couldn't think about that. It was too depressing, and Miranda had to get some food and sleep before her shift tomorrow. Her thoughts wandered to where she would park for the night. She needed to find someplace different. This parking lot was creeping her out, and she was sick of being here so often. She had gas money now, so a trip to the truck stop, a visit to the ladies' room to shower, and a bite to eat were in order. The rest of the money would go to where it was needed, every penny of it. Besides, a gas station would be brighter, and a clerk would be behind the counter, so she wouldn't be alone anymore. Just the idea of that made her feel better. Where the hell were her keys? Stupid purse. It was huge, but it had to be. She kept a lot of her worldly goods in it lately. Finally, she found the Batgirl
Sample complete. Ready to continue?